Hey guys, it's Joe again. I decided to put up another video. I'm testing out this new, I guess you can call it a video confidence challenge of mine, is to not film myself with the, without being able to see myself with the camera panel screen. You know what I'm talking about. It flips out and, it replaced the eye viewfinder on cameras. Yeah, anyways, so I just want to make a short video and talk about something I really like, and that is Dungeons and Dragons, or more specifically in this case, Pathfinder, because for those who don't know, Pathfinder is a updated version of Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. I'm playing as a DM. We have my wife, who's playing as the warrior this time, because we tried playing with other friends and she loves playing rogues and rangers. Actually, rangers more, but a rogue is close enough. This time she tries playing the fighter. She hates magic classes. I do too. But as the DM, I end up taking on one of the player characters as the wizard. And finally our guest, our high school friend, she decides to play the cleric. Now, it's for those who actually know the Pathfinder characters. The wizard is Ezrin. The fighter is Valeros. Yes, a cross-playing kind of thing for my wife and Val. And the cleric is Kyra. So it always starts like this campaign. It always starts with there's shit going down, and the only clue that you have is a Black Fang, and the monster you're after is called Black Fang. And we all head up into a cart and head out east, and we're talking with each other, and I'm actually having a lot of fun with this, because Ezra and I made wow. Cats. What are you gonna do? Alright. The Ezra, as I'm going for, is kind of like this ex-student kind of guy. Well, he's not an ex-student, he's a student right now, but he's in his 40s. And magic in my world is kind of low. Like, you don't want to let other people know because people will call you a witch and they'll burn you at the stake. So he's more like an eccentric, really book-smart, like, person, like, socially dumb kind of guy. He kind of rambles and mutters, and when it comes to, talking to people, he's kind of centered around himself, and of course he has this accent, and he's got a beard, and he has his hood up most of the time. And I had a lot of fun with that, and I think that my players did too. So we not too much else to say about the other characters. Kyra was kind of a forgetful cleric. I had to basically, since Ezra knew the most as a wizard, who's the smartest, he was able to bring up that she was from this place and this must have happened to her, and she's like, oh yeah, that did, and it's great because it really gives her an identity as this, as a cleric that just, has, I guess, so much wisdom that she's not in tune with, like, what's going on around her, if that makes sense. And then we have Val, and Val is supposed to be cocky, and Val is supposed to be kind of brash, but, we had a few little, like, tidbits of player character knowledge getting in the way because my wife had already played before. Again, one of those really rocky places in Dungeons & Dragons. Alright, let me hurry up with my story. So, we end up getting in, we start off with some goblins. They try getting deeper in, where the leader of them wants a deal made for their safe passage through. Val ends up fucking it up for them, because they don't decide to throw the cleric out there for diplomacy, and they end up fighting, and the leader runs away. They get stuck for a bit. They decide to follow where the leader went. Big shocker, he died. They passed this giant, like, in-cave pool, and he floats up dead. hint. And they move on through. They face a giant spider. I completely missed. This is one thing. One thing you have to really be aware of is where things are in your dungeon as a DM, because I completely forgot that there's a magic pillar that helps out with the water room, which they ended up going back to. Once they get to the water room, there's a reef claw that ends up attacking Val as he makes it to the island where there's a bunch of loot and the Deus Ex Machina sword. There's also this fire trap. And Ezrin so far has been sort of failing at magic. This is the funny part with him, because he's such a studious old man. When it comes to magic, he's not that... No, it's not that he's not that good, it's just that he's not that well learned, because magic is secret, magic is dangerous, so he doesn't really have many ways to learn from it, so every time he's trying to cast a ray of frost, snow basically just pops out everywhere. He can't seem to get a grip, and he mumbles to himself, and he's like, oh god damn it, like, rare. We get to this magic trap room, though, and he knows that the fire, I made it so that the fire that comes out of these two statues guarding a protective gem is arcane fire. That way it keeps going and going and going rather than just running out of fuel like a normal natural fire. So everyone's, Kyra ends up bowing through, getting underneath the fire and making her way to the center. Ezrin tries to do the same thing because Val got hurt trying to do it, but Ezrin gets completely set on fire. He fails hard. I rolled a 1. The arcane user was subdued by arcane fire and dropped, and he was dying. That's how bad it was, and that's how much fire there was. So all Kyra had to do was pick up the gem, and the trap stopped. I just made it so the trap stopped. They didn't have to disable crap, because they didn't have a rogue with them. And Ezrin's dying, and Kyra has to use her healing wand that she got in this place. And he ends up coming back alive, but his hair's all singed off, and his beard's all gone, and he's like, I spent so much time trying to grow this out. I guess it was funny. I have to say, because the reason why I wanted to tell the story is because it seems like my character Ezrin failed the most. And I'll speed up to the end now because we made it past some skeletons, past this 20-foot drop where, we accidentally dropped Kyra. I mean, she was supposed to climb down and we were supposed to catch her, but she rolled a 3 and, plummeted on her back. She was able to heal, but that had to hurt. So this is going to be spoiler territory right now. If you're thinking about getting the beginner box, then, I mean, you might already know this, but if you're thinking about getting the beginner box, you might want to just tune out now, or I don't know why you're watching. But the final boss is a black dragon. That is Black Fang, because, Black Fang, what's going to be big enough? Dungeons and Dragons. So, as a rule, the dragon has to spray an acid, mist, fog, what have you, at the party. And everyone's supposed to make a reflex save, because if they make it, they only get half damage, but if they don't, then they get the full. So, everyone makes their rolls. Ezrin ends up getting, Ezrin gets a 20 this time, so he only takes, half damage. No, I'm sorry, 20 he rolls a natural 20, so he only took a quarter damage. I just decided to throw that in, because he's a wizard, he's going to die even if he took the whole half damage. Val ends up making a save, so he only takes half damage. Kyra, though, doesn't, but the gem that she got from the trap ends up protecting her, and she ends up living for that. Everyone gets their few hits, and their little bit of magic. Well, actually, Val gets his hits. Kyra does her healing magic, and gets a couple of scimitar hits on the dragon too. Ezrin, though, tries to use the burning hands, or the 15-foot cone fire spell. And you can probably guess that I rolled a 1. He set himself on fire again. I couldn't believe it. There are just some people out there that weren't made to handle fire, and Ezrin is one of them. He toppled over, burning in agony again, and was dying. I had to commit. He rolled full damage with his spell on himself. So I don't know if I'm being a bad DM and just making these like blunders really, or these fumbles really critical, or if I'm just sort of really cheating the rules. But hey, it's a game. But yeah, Ezrin toppled over and he was burning. The group managed to get out safe enough because the dragon's supposed to fly off after the second turn. Because I made it so that because he was weak, he didn't like Kyra's light magic, and parts of him were falling off. Again, dragons weren't known for the past couple hundred years, so this is supposed to be the big shocker, but Val's player character knowledge sort of ruins that. It's kind of like, you know, oh, well, this is a fantasy setting, there has to be dragons. Oh, there aren't dragons. Oh, okay, there aren't dragons. Dragon shows up. So yeah, I just sort of wanted to say, moral of the story, really watch your 1s and 20s, because if you're gonna go with epic criticals, you have to go with fumbles. And I thought it was just funny enough for Ezrin to take fire to the face twice with 1s in this campaign. And I'm not even, like, as a DM, I tried to keep things, you know, level. I gave everyone their moment of shine, and everyone got their loot and their level at the end. But again, this is like a game of Monopoly for the beginner box. I had fun though. I had a lot of fun. I had fun making up Ezrin and really giving him, you know, a sense of character. This kind of, you know, you're working against an older character who should be the wise old man of the heroic journey, but he's just sort of fumbling at it, and he kind of sucks. So, yeah, that's my D&D story, and hopefully I'll have more to remember about it, or hopefully I'll have more to come. So, stay tuned if you're still interested and you like hearing people talk about Dungeons & Dragons, or in this case, Pathfinder. And she just explains, like, well, it's a dark elf, and he's like, you know, an elf, like, you know, the little people who make cookies. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have to live with that every day.